Langeland International Film Festival er en helt ny filmfestival, der sætter fokus på film og fortællinger fra ø-samfund verden over. Med plads til både fællesskab, fordybelse og nysgerrige samtaler. Festivalen samler film, kunst og kultur, der spejler livet tæt på havet. Festivallens direktør, Douglas Tanton, og hans hustru, Ulla Børgesen, er i studiet for at fortælle om tilblivelsen og planerne for Festivallens fremtid.
Can you recall, when was the first time that you kind of were fascinated by film?
Yeah, I can, Patrick. I think the first time I was really interested in film was as a very young boy watching Christmas specials on television and seeing Miracle and some of the old style Christmas movies, and also some of the newer 60s and 70s animated Christmas hits. I was quite fascinated by film, and my family had been involved in theater and film, and of course I grew up in a house like many people did in the 60s and 70s, where our fathers were itinerant 35 millimeter travel filmmakers, and so learning to use the camera with my dad when we were on holidays all over Canada, camping holidays, and then coming home, having the film sent in to the production house, having it come back, sitting in the basement, spooling it through the camera, and then watching your film. It was my first taste of what it meant to create a film and to enjoy a film. Yeah.
Mm. And that production, that way of production, that was quite different. You couldn't see it before it was developed and stuff like that. Is that something you miss? Is that part of the process you miss?
It is interesting. Just recently, I've had meetings with people who are talking about how to share more AI films. And you can see that that's one direction. You can also see that there's many places here in Denmark and around the world where there's a whole school of traditional filmmakers getting back to film and film production. So I do miss it a little bit, but I think that as a film presenter and someone who wants to celebrate film, it's a good time to embrace all the technologies. Heritage, old style film, digital film, sometimes some AI consideration. I think it's a time to really think about all the different ways that we're making film. For me, it's about the story. It's narrative development. And that's what's most exciting about either a film festival or seeing a film is, are there new stories?
So that's the most important.
The most important, yes.
Let's back up a bit. Let's talk about why you are here. You have taken the initiative to a film festival.
Yes.
On Langeland. Can you tell more about that?
I'd love to, and I love to have some support to talk about that a little bit. Some 25 years ago, when I was younger, I worked at a very large cultural institution in Canada, and I produced the first ever Festival of Canadian Film in partnership with Toronto's Film Festival, which was in its fledgling days at that time. The National Film Board of Canada, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, all well-known film producers and screeners. We screened a series of feature-length and short films that represented the heritage of some of the old-style 60s, 70s, and 80s films. I had the opportunity to direct that festival through my role as the Director of National Liaison at the Confederation Center. And that's how I really got a taste of being a film presenter. And I saw that that could be wonderful. Over the years, I've had many roles around the world. I've had the opportunity to work in the Middle East, Asia Pacific, North America, in arts, culture, and for some causes. I've worked with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Greenpeace. I've worked for Save the Children, CARE, different organizations to help them tell their stories. I met an incredible woman here in Denmark when I was working with Red Barnet, Save the Children here in Denmark. And of course, we came together, and I'm very fortunate to have met her. And her brother moved to Langeland. So we are renting cars and driving to Langeland to visit her brother. Maybe her mother has a birthday, so we bring her mother. We stay at hotels. We go for dinner in Svendborg. We go to Rudkobing. We get to know the area. And I start thinking, I'd like to live. I'd like to have a home here. This is a beautiful place. And so I was the one who coaxed my wife into moving and buying a home in Langeland. And then through that, I got to know a whole film community. I met a number of individuals who had homes or summer homes in Langeland. Kim Magnussen, Camilla Hemrick, Sina Madsen, who's now, these are chairs or members of our board or members of our advisor committee, all very well-regarded filmmakers and media personalities in Denmark who have homes in Langeland. So, Patrick, I think we became a family of filmmakers and film screeners, and we all really wanted to tell the story of Langeland. Then I met an individual named Klaus Hansen, who I'm sure you know very well, Patrick. And Klaus is the outgoing CEO of Filmfyn and has been very instrumental in helping some young filmmakers across Denmark, helping some film productions in Fyn and in Langeland. And I got to meet him and took some advice from him. And his advice was, there's lots of film festivals in Denmark, but what we don't have is something that speaks about islands. And so we started thinking about this, myself and other people. What about an island film festival? So then I went back to Canada and spoke to some of my contemporaries there at the CBC, filmmakers with the National Film Board, filmmakers in Newfoundland, which is an island, filmmakers in Tasmania, which is an island, Bahamas. And I started saying, why don't we come together as a film community and celebrate filmmakers who are from islands? And it seemed to be a penny drop moment, we say in English, a moment where we all realized we're onto something here. That's the genesis of the idea. Langeland is a beautiful island, and we want to bring filmmakers from around the world to celebrate storytelling on islands.
Interesting. We'll get back to that. What did you think about Langeland, moving to Langeland, coming from the central Copenhagen area, or not, maybe not the central, but the Copenhagen area of Denmark?
So while I've been living away from Denmark, I've been living outside of major cities as well, so I can really appreciate being in the countryside. What I really like, I think Langeland is incredibly beautiful. It's very accessible. It's easy to get around. People are super kind, and they have this incredible facility, this Bio Langeland that they built. I can't remember how many years ago, but it's fully voluntary run, and it's a great venue for the island. And I'm super happy to be close to family and close to beautiful beaches and everything that Langeland has to offer.
It's kind of interesting with Langeland. You have a lot of volunteers doing stuff, never asking permission, just going ahead.
Yeah.
How do you experience that?
I think maybe it's part of the island mentality. I think around the world, I think people who live on islands would probably say that they sometimes feel removed from whatever country they're part of. Maybe they're sometimes also a little bit forgotten. Like when you're not close to the capital where government decisions are made. I don't think people are forgotten in Langeland, but I also think then, well, we'll just do it our way. And we have our own way of things, and people might agree sort of internally, and people know each other too. So they're very close, where if you live in Copenhagen, you're not always close with your neighbors because there's so many people. But in Langeland, you'll get to know people when you're out and about, and I think that then people start to do their own way, and they probably feel that if this is going to get done, we'll have to do it ourselves. And so they do.
So is this more? It's not a specific Langeland thing. It's more an island thing.
Well, in my experience, I can't say that I've lived only on islands, so I would have to say that other people on islands could chirp in. But I imagine that it is an island thing, that you get connected as the island, and even though you're part of a major country, you feel connected there, and you're proud of that place, and you take ownership. And it's maybe easier to take ownership in a small community because your impact can be felt very quickly.
Sometimes you hear that when you're going to a rural area, it's kind of hard to fit in. It will take some generations.
Yes.
Do you feel that in Langeland?
I think that people have been very welcoming.
Mm.
Maybe some people sometimes are wondering, where did they come from? What exactly are they doing? But I would say that most places we go into, people are very welcoming. English is not an issue. People are happy, and even they'll try in Danish if they're not comfortable with English, and will understand most of it anyway. So most of the time I feel that people are very welcoming. I think sometimes you have to maybe live on your particular street for a bit and your neighbors get used to you. But when you've been there for a little bit, they recognize that you're there, you're staying. So I guess they just put up with us.
Now you're being the Danish insider, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, are people reacting to you coming with an idea, coming and saying, okay, we could do this, we could attract a lot of international film people to this island? Are the Danes, are the Langelænder, are they reacting to that?
I think you can probably speak to that better, talking about the film festival.
We do speak about it sometime, Patrick, and it's interesting because I think there's a hunger for new things. People recognize that the pastoral, quiet ways of island life, whether it's in Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, Vancouver Island, or Langeland, is changing. New ideas are needed for the residents and to attract people to come and see that lifestyle. I think it's a balance. You have to present new ideas, but you also have to really try and respect the culture that gave rise to those ideas. For instance, this year at the Langeland International Film Festival, we have films from Tasmania, Bahamas, Newfoundland, some interesting quirky films from different places. We also have 3 first-time filmmakers from Langeland sharing some of their wares, so to speak. We're having a student workshop with a Canadian filmmaker facilitating and a Canadian educator to bring together Langeland filmmakers. We're doing it in partnership with the After School at Langeland's After School. So what we're trying to say is, yes, we come from away. We may have new ideas, but those new ideas are only as good as your ideas here in Langeland. And we've been very open to populating the film festival with as many people, ideas, and events that represent Langeland and Sydfyn.
So you're shining not a light on Langeland, but on islands. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. But also you must be shining some light on Langeland.
That's correct.
Attracting people.
That's correct. Our first year, we anticipate, we're calling it Film Days. So it's just 3 days of film. Friday night, we have the Danish perspective with a very recent release, Paradis. And then Aski Bang's new film, Welcome to the Moon, which is hotly anticipated. On Saturday, we're showing some shorts and feature films from Nordic islands, Greenland, Iceland, Fyn, and Langeland. And then Saturday night, we're retreating to Brolak for a filmmaker appreciation dinner and some short films. And we're inviting the Hummel After School to play some music for us. So not sticking with always the most professional. We're having Academy Award nominated filmmakers participating sometimes with filmmakers who are in elementary school. The key for us is, do they bring an island perspective? Do you have an island story that you want to tell? Are you an island filmmaker? I have to give some moments to describe one of the stories, which is very important. I've come to meet an incredible filmmaker from Cuba, an island. Her name is Tamara Segura. She left Cuba and moved to Newfoundland in Canada, which is another island, very cold. And so she's coming and sharing her films, being sponsored by the Ambassador of Canada and Air Canada, to come and share her Canadian island perspective with Langeland filmmakers, Langeland after-school filmmakers, and some of the professional filmmakers from Nordic islands. So we are trying to challenge the established process and say, what if we mix things up a little bit? Let people just tell their stories. And those stories are about islands or come from islands. So that's one example of that. Thank you.
It's very interesting because we're talking about a lot about division in these times. Everything is kind of more divided than it used to be. But then again, film can bring us together. Is it a common language? Or?
Yes. We believe that to be the case, Patrick. And yes, we live in divisive times, and Canada and Denmark have seen that you can be punished by larger cultures who wish to step to their own drummer. And I started thinking about it. So what would a Canadian island filmmaker's perspective be on being independent? What would a Greenland filmmaker's perspective be on being independent right now? What would a Langeland filmmaker be? So yes, I think you've hit the nail on the head, is independent voices from islands. The island perspective is what's really interesting to us. And we're hoping it's interesting to our audience too, Patrick. Yeah.
How do you go about curating the festival?
This year, I've been very fortunate that our board of directors and advisors are here in Denmark, in Tasmania, and in Canada, have made suggestions of films. We are not having a jury this year because we're just doing 3 days of films to test our ability to produce a festival and test the audience interest in what we're doing. It's very important that we have films that people in Langeland are interested in. To gain the Danish perspective and to really shine a light on Nordic island filmmakers, I've been so fortunate that our director of programming for the film festival is Rebecca Prusen, who's, of course, an Academy Award nominated producer and a long-time film industry insider and producer. She has been fantastic because some of the lesser-known filmmakers, short films, some really interesting island filmmakers from the Nordic countries are coming to us through Rebecca. We also have individuals on our board like Camilla Hamrick, who has a long history of writing and producing in film and television drama, and is a well-known Danish entity for that. And Camilla's really been great to share different ideas, what's happening in the media environment in Denmark. The chair of our board is Sina Madsen, who is, interestingly enough, very much a part of the Bio Langeland team. So she's been presenting Danish films for 25 years. And for Sina to chair our board, it's her message that she would like to share the best of Danish film, but also see what's out there internationally. So we're all trying to share, and we're going to make a stew of different films, and we hope it tastes good.
Very interesting. Can you talk a bit about the difference of producing and presenting?
It is interesting. I have produced short film, smaller film in my younger days, and producing primarily it's taking the story, the storyteller, the direction, and building it financially, building it professionally together. Screening films is a different thing because you actually play the role of a film lover then. You're viewing many films. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's a nice 15-minute film, and it would be really good in our afternoon segment because it tells the story of a young woman on an island. Oh, I like that. It's two young people telling an interesting story about how they deal with bullying in their school. And we have those kind of films. So I think producing film it's that professional development of building the story. Presenting the film is about viewing and curating or bringing the right stories together, thinking of your audience so that you can make sure there's something for everyone. Yeah. The two biggest differences, creating the story and sharing and celebrating the story, perhaps.
For you, having been this close to the festival and the build-up of the festival, has that changed the way you look at island life? Has it changed the way that you think about islands?
I don't think it has changed, actually. Well, maybe, and I'll go back to the volunteer commitment that we've seen. We heard about that when we first came to Langeland, because you see the movie theater, and we very quickly learned that it was run by volunteers, which seemed remarkable. And I guess I will say that there's many local people, like the mayor and people in the kommune, that have been very quick to step up and be supportive. So maybe that has changed because I didn't have a perspective on that from Langeland, and I would say that people are really embracing it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You're also quite close to the mayor, right? On an island, because it's not like a big city where they can.
No, you'll meet him when you're out. Yes.
Maybe out shopping, maybe out and about.
Yeah.
So, has this, in any sense? I know it's the first year now. Are people proud of this? Do you think people will be the Langelanders? Will this be something they're proud of?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I think some Langelanders would probably say they're not sure what it is because they haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I think the people that have been close to the process are very excited. And they feel proud, and I feel they also feel capable. They feel there is a space in Langeland to have a film festival. There is space for people to come from outside of Langeland as well, because we have something to show, we have spaces for it, and we have people who have been able to curating a really interesting compilation of movies. And I think what's interesting about the film festival too is we get access to short films, and short films you don't always get access to. You have to go look for short films. And short films often have very interesting subjects, and they have to sort of get to the point quickly because it's a short film. And this is really an opportunity to view a lot of different, very interesting films.
Have you been watching over the shoulder? Yeah?
I have watched some of them, yes. Yeah.
What are you most excited about?
There's a movie from Greenland. It's called
Weaver?
The basket weaver.
The grass weaver.
Grass weaver, yeah. About this older woman in Greenland who weaves these baskets. She picks the grass, she weaves the basket, and she's the last person there weaving the baskets, so she's trying to teach it to the next generation. And there's a story about, and I won't share that here because that's part of it, but how that came about, why she started doing it. And it's a very beautiful movie, because it's shot in Greenland, so it's incredibly beautiful. And she's a very interesting person. And I like those personal stories.
Now you're saying Greenland, and I'm thinking that's a very big island,
Yeah.
extremely big island. And then we have small islands like Ærø or something like that, in size small, not in culture. Is that the same mentality?
No, it's an interesting question, and we've started to raise it. I'm not sure we're at the end of that conversation, but do we serve small islands only, or should we be open and welcoming to people from bigger islands? Greenland, Newfoundland, gigantic islands, Vancouver Island, maybe in the future, big islands. The island of Hong Kong, there's some great short films coming from. So there's lots of places around the world. Some of them are big and bustling. And I think what we're trying to find is, can we welcome people from any size island to express what they feel coming from an island? And can we be open to allow different feelings from different islanders? Because a filmmaker from Ærø presenting their first film from a very small island might be very different than a filmmaker from Long Island, USA, who lives in Manhattan, presenting their first island film. Their perspective of living on Long Island, near New York City, for instance, would be very different than the filmmaker in Ærø. And we're trying to make ourselves welcoming to both. So that is going to take some examination, Patrick. I think we're going to have to slowly consider how we can be open to both at either end. That's correct. It is challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. It must be quite different lives. Quite different
personalities.
And a set of complications and so forth.
Indeed.
But are you looking for what aligns or what differentiates?
What's disparate or what comes together? We're not sure at this point. No. It's important for us to celebrate island stories, islanders making the stories, or in some cases, filmmakers going to an island making a story. Well, why would you, as a filmmaker in Montreal or Toronto, why would you travel to Prince Edward Island or Newfoundland to shoot your film? What's special? What are you trying to capture about being on that island? Why are some films that are written that could be anywhere in Denmark, why are they shot from a perspective of Langeland or Ærø or Mons or different islands? What was the filmmaker trying to highlight? And so there are different stories or different islander perspectives, and I'm not sure we'll cover them all, but we're going to try. Yeah.
But it's a work in progress?
It is. Yeah. It is indeed. Yeah.
I think that's very inspiring that you're not locked into to any perspective.
No,
you're kind of working with whatever shows.
Yeah.
Interesting. The more professional people like Camilla Hammerik and so forth, why do they come to Langeland? In your...
Well, I think Camilla and her family and different people that have considerable media or film careers, either in Denmark or internationally, see Langeland as a place to reflect on life, a place to write. I had a conversation recently with Kim Magnuson. He said, come see the dining table in my house, because 2 or 3 of Denmark's greatest films were written around that dining table. So I think people see Langeland or islands as great places to go and create. And we think that there's stories to be told about that process. We're working with North Atlantic House in Copenhagen. They have a film days also. And we're working with Birger Thor Muller, their film curator, on having a residency program in Langeland in the future, where we might invite people who have cottages to give them up for 1 month to a filmmaker from Ærø, from Iceland, from Greenland, from Newfoundland, from Bahamas, and they might create a new story there. So what we're trying to say is Langeland could be a place it can be the playing field for filmmakers to come to from different places. And I think that's the beauty of Langeland, is that it's open and people are open to new ideas and new thoughts and new stories.
That's very interesting. Also thinking about the creative work can be done anywhere. Like Bertolt Brecht, the German playwright, wrote some of his most stochastic plays here in Svendborg.
Yeah, that's right.
The urbanization that has been going on for quite a while, is it like kind of reversing? Is in your opinion, are we seeing people moving out of the cities again, trying to go out to the country?
I think that people are looking, either younger family or people who are retiring. I think it's both from a cost perspective, but I think it's also it's a busy place. Like if you live in Copenhagen or the area, the cities around Copenhagen, it's getting very, very busy. And I think you come to Langeland or you come to Fyn, and there's a different pace of life. It's more relaxed. And like in Langeland, like you were saying, as a creative space, like a space where you can gather your thoughts, it's very peaceful, like very quiet. Like after 8 o'clock, it's like there's no sound at all.
Even turning the street lamps off now.
Often, yeah, exactly, yeah. But I think that people are really embracing that. There's great opportunity to find peace there.
10, 15 years ago, Langeland was a quite different place. It was a place where you couldn't buy a house because nobody would give you a mortgage and so forth. It seems like there's a different energy now. What have you experienced moving there?
Yeah, I would say that there is. And I think there are more people from many places in Denmark as well, which then gets reflected when you go out. I think it's still in the winter time, it's probably a more quiet place still. And it's more bustling as the weather turns nice in the spring. But I think it really adds to Langeland. And I would say that in my experience, many places I've been in the world, that when you are in a place where people come from different places, that creates a really great energy.
One of the things many of the politicians were talking about coming into the local elections in November was getting the ends to meet of this very long stretched island.
Yeah.
What are your experiences there from Bagenkop to Lohals? How do you see the island?
I think it's starting to come together, but I think distance is an interesting thing on Langeland because perhaps coming from even Copenhagen or places in Europe or Canada, we will drive further distance. And I think there's been a history that people in Bagenkop took care of themselves. They had 2 cafes and a place where an outdoor field to play football, and then they went fishing and they lived there. And now I think you're seeing people buying property, like you say, in Bagenkop and going to the other end of the island for dinner. How dare they? That distance.
Yeah.
But I think that the island is shrinking. And I think that people in the commune and people in politics would say that's great because people are sharing more. They're going back and forth and more people coming from outside, and it's all fantastic. I do think it's going to lead to some challenges of infrastructure. Do we have enough roads? Are they wide enough? Do we have... And some of these questions are started to be asked too. So yes, a quiet pastoral place 15, 20 years ago, and now a quiet pastoral place that has a bit of zip and energy. I've met photographers, filmmakers, TV personalities from all over Denmark who now live in Langeland. And I've met people from Australia who like to come to Langeland to go bicycling. So it's starting to have a bit of personality beyond its border. So I think that takes time. Yeah.
And clearly this film festival will contribute to that as well.
We hope so.
Yeah,
we hope so.
How do you think that into the project?
We're going to try very hard. This year we have events in Rudkøbing at the Bio Langeland, and then at the after school, and then we're having one event at the Brolok in the south. So I think in the future we would like to have screenings in Bergenhof, in Loha. So I think that's where we can contribute. So we can say stories of island fishermen, perhaps on screen from around the world, being screened in Bergenhof because there's fishermen in that area. So, or fisher people in that area. So I think that we can try and support all areas of the island a little bit and not be too centralized. I think that's a gift that we can give back to the island. Yes. Yeah.
And the people you invite, the people coming to attend the festival, what are you going to show them of Langeland?
That's very interesting. We were just on the phone with filmmakers from Newfoundland. I have friends coming from different places. Aarhus, they've heard of Langeland. They think that's interesting. I'd like to come there. We'll take them down south, and I'll take them to Spatsberg, to the east, because I like to get my ice cream and my pulser there. I'm sorry to say, but
that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll take them to the north, to Lohal. There's some very good cafes and restaurants. There's some nice walks on the beach. There's been some talk with some of the filmmakers that they would like to go into Rudkobing and go to down to the swimming platform in the city and go for a swim. And so we have members of our team are going to take them swimming. So we're going to try and share the local perspective of Langeland. And yes, they might go and see the wild horses in the south. And yes, they might go and see the fishing village in the north. But we're going to do it in partnership with people who live in Langeland, who are local people. Yeah.
Interesting. How has the cooperation with Filmfyn been? How are they contributing to the whole thing?
Fantastic. Klaus really saw the ability that this film festival could do something different. They were one of our first financial partners, and he very strongly made a statement to make a nominal but important first donation to our work, which really made this 3-day film days happen. Opening their Rolodex to filmmakers, film producers, film presenters, connecting me to people at Svendborg Film Days, connecting me to people at the university who are studying film. So I think Filmfyn, it will always be an important partner for us. Yes.
Yeah. And are they contributing, now you're saying, a lot more than just money, also as
yes.
a network, and are they promoting as well?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are. They're promoting the film festival and talking it up both in their own social media and their promotion, and they've also been connecting me as outside of the Danish film industry to some filmmakers. I'll get an email from someone saying, this is a new film coming. It might be good for next year. Mm. And this is a new film that's going to be shot next year. You might want to think about it in 2 years. So I think that's been really appreciated. Getting in the loop. Denmark has a really well-established film and media community. And as an outsider to that, what's been really nice is Klaus has really helped me feel that I'm part of things and helped me get involved in some of those areas. That's been great. Yeah, thank you.
I think you already have kind of answered the question, but I'm going to to put it to you anyway. 9 of the 10 fynske kommuner are paying towards Filmfyn, and sometimes people are kind of evaluating what are we getting for those money.
Yeah.
In this instance, what are Langeland getting for their contribution to Filmfyn?
Yeah, Langelanders are getting film days this year that would not happen without the financial contribution of Filmfyn. They're also getting a greater attachment to Fyn and by Filmfyn to the film community in Copenhagen, Odense, Aarhus. I think that's what's really happening more. I think Filmfestival have always been ardent supporters of what's being screened, the Danish films in Langeland. But as Ulla was saying, some of the most exciting things are some of the short films from Nordic countries, from Langeland filmmakers, from elementary and after school age students that themselves may have received Filmfin training or funding to support their film. So now, with the Langeland International Film Festival, we have a place at home to screen it, to show what Langeland creativity really looks like. And that's what people are getting for their value. And I hope people would recognize that those organizations, especially something like Filmfun, are really working hard to be inclusive and sharing. And it's easy in an environment where funding is tight to kind of retract and only do your core program. But I think Filmfun, through support of Langeland International Film Festival, has really made a statement that they're going to try new ideas. They're going to try new places. And even if those new ideas and new places are in little old Langeland or some other smaller place, they're really trying it. And I think that's really wonderful. Yeah.
So one thing is the money and another the attention, but what kind of weight does Filmfyn put in when they come and say they will support you? What does that amount for?
The fact that Filmfun supported the Langeland International Film Festival opened the door with the Canadian government, with the Canadian embassy and ambassador, who themselves, the Honourable Ambassador Carolyn Bennett, is coming to open on Saturday night and welcome people. And those things probably wouldn't happen without Filmfun first saying, this is happening. We're going to support the film festival. We like what the board and Douglas are trying to accomplish. And I think that's the door that's opened. Inviting the international community to see that this little film festival in Langeland has a stamp of endorsement from one of the heritage strong culture pillars in Denmark. Filmfun plays an important role. So yes, the money, yes, the moral support and the promotion, but that bully pulpit or someone to really support what's happening has opened doors for me for other partners. Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now we hear about efterskole, we hear about Brolykke.
Yep.
It's kind of a big difference. How does this come together in a film festival? What is your impression of that?
Well, I think this was kind of a starting point to try and not have everything happen in Rudkøbing. So I think when Douglas got connected with different people who were interested and supporting it, of course, we're going to be screening movies at the Bio Langeland. That would be obvious. But to also be able to host a really nice dinner, Brolykke Herregård is a beautiful place, and they have the capacity also to house people who are coming from outside of Langeland. And to get the efterskolers involved, to get young people involved who are really interested in film, really adds a whole other layer to the film festival, because it's also educational, and they get to work and they get to meet people who are working in the industry. So if film is something you have a passion for and you're thinking about, oh, that could be interesting, it's sometimes hard to get a grasp on, okay, where do I go? How do I start? And here is an opportunity to get connected and to speak with somebody who has the experience. And I think, as I mentioned before, it was also, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's also a way, having it in different places is to spread it across Langeland. And because it's film days this year, so it's between Langeland Bio and Brolykke Herregård and Langelands Efterskole.
What do you hope that people attending this festival from around the world will bring back home from Langeland? What do you think, or what do you hope they will take away?
I think that they will really appreciate how beautiful it is, because it is both Fyn and Langeland, the islands, are incredibly beautiful. And many times when you travel to Denmark, just like when we go to the US or to Canada, you go to the major cities, you might not always make it here. So I think people will really see how magnificently beautiful it is, how kind people are, and how accessible things are, and the opportunities there is. And then you get a chance to also really view movies from a lot of different places in the world that you might not see when you're at home.
Do you get to see any movies during the festival? Are you working? Are you attending?
I think I am, but I am hoping that maybe there's not too much to do while the movies are playing. So I'm certainly hoping I get to see most of them.
Sit down and
because I love movies, so I hope so.
Nice.
Yeah.
At the end of the interview here, I would like to just, what can we do? How do we attend? Can you volunteer? Sure. What can we do?
I'd love to hear from you. My email is listed on our website, and that's langelandfilmfestival.com, and I'd love you to share that with the viewers. And to go to the ticketing, if you'd like to buy tickets this year, I'd really like to make available a 10% discount code, Patrick, for visitors from Fyn and Langeland, a last minute, so to speak, discount code, so that everyone can come and see the events. So I'll share that code, and I hope that people can come and see it. If people wish to volunteer, my email is on, and we'd love to hear from people, be they from Odense or Svendborg. We'd love everyone to be involved in the film festival, and we're open to ideas. And if someone says, I have an idea for a film festival event, or I'd like to screen something, I'd like to see more island films about people on island vacations. I'd like to see island films about people going fishing. I'd like to see island films about the Air Museum in the south of Langeland. So there's lots of new things that we can uncover, and we hope people will bring them forward. We don't have all the ideas. We're just going to try and facilitate them. So yes, attend this year, show your support. You can volunteer, get in touch with us. We have a voluntary team that our board chair is coordinating, and we'd be happy to learn from everyone. Yes.
It's everybody's first Island Film Festival. So where to start? Where would I begin if I want to see some good movies?
So Friday night, which is Friday the 22nd of May, a little more than a week away, is the Danish perspective with Paradis and Welcome to the Moon at Bio Langeland, and the mayor Jørgen Nielsen will be coming to welcome and open the film days. And we'll have a small reception in between those two films, meet some of the filmmakers. That would be an exciting first step. Saturday morning, short films at Bio Langeland. Saturday night, we're having a 3-course chef's dinner at Broløkke. Music, film music by Humla After School Music team, and Jonas bringing that team together, and some short films. Sunday morning is very exciting because May 24th, Sunday morning, we're having a traditional Canadian pancake breakfast with Canadian maple syrup at the Langeland's After School, and Tamara Segura, the Canadian filmmaker from Newfoundland, will be facilitating a workshop to share student films, and then later in the day she'll be working with student filmmakers from Langeland After School. And all of those events that I've described are open, and all of them will be open for the discount code.
Nice. And just to be clear, it seems very inclusive. You don't have to be a film nerd. You don't have to be a film buff. You don't have to have a certain age. You can just attend.
The films we're screening are a reflection of our audience interest. There are some interesting, there's some award-winning films, there's some curiosities, and there's some different, and there's some new emerging storytellers. So there's something for everyone, certainly. We've listed all the films on our website, so I encourage everyone to go look. And if there's films that we should be showing, please let us know.
Okay, great. Thanks. Very nice talking to you both, and the best of luck with the film festival.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much, Patrick.